Realize you have your choice of speakers today at 2 o'clock on a Thursday, and I'm glad you chose me. um, yeah, I'm Erik Todeschini. I'm a senior business consultant with Honeywell Productivity Solutions and Services, and I'm here today to share with you some really practical examples of how we're deploying artificial intelligence across our software portfolio and what it means to the frontline worker. So not pie in the sky ideas, but actual things that are making a difference for our customers. Before I do that, though, I'm going to give a little bit of context on our solution portfolio here. So, we've got a number of different categories of software offerings. Each one of these has, at least one or more solutions to it. And we're augmenting all of these with AI, and you're going to see a lot of examples of that. Our asset performance management category, we have a solution, Honeywell Operational Intelligence. And this is, you can think of mobile device management for Honeywell, mobile computers, printers, scanners, voice products. But more importantly, predictive analytics around all the data we're capturing there, finding, problems with devices, application issues, network problems before they impact operations. And you'll see a number of AI feature sets that we're rolling out there. Advanced data capture. This is a solution we have called Honeywell Honeywell Swift Decoder. And this is enterprise grade barcode scanning. This is optical character recognition, and you're going to see a lot of machine vision use cases for this as well. Workforce intelligence. This is task management. It's incident response, incident reporting, measuring the effectiveness of labor. Guided work, we have a number of different offerings, about building very rigid workflows and guiding users through those workflows visually, through voice, or just-in-time built workflows leveraging AI, which you'll see as well. And then unified communications, we have a solution, Honeywell Smart Talk. This is, you can think of Teams for the frontline worker, secure messaging, push-to-talk, walkie-talkie style communication, full duplex, half duplex communication, conference calling, and a lot of cool AI capabilities coming there as well. And of course, a layer of managed services that cuts across all those as well. So what we've built internally here, if I can get this slide to go, is something we call Honeywell Intelligence. So this is our multimodal artificial intelligence framework that we've built, initially to power all of these AI capabilities across our portfolio. So this is has a number of different large language models, machine vision models, machine learning models. It's been trained on all of our Honeywell contexts, so our product user guides, our repair database, tech support database. Of course, customers can also feed it their own context, their workflows, their product guides. It's multimodal. You've heard some multimodality talks here, right? So it accepts all sorts of input. Text, voice, video, barcode, sound, right? And then that multimodality extends to the output as well. So, outputting text, outputting voice, building workflows in real time. There's an element of orchestration to this framework as well, where it can live in public cloud, private cloud, within your own four walls, on an edge box, and even on some of our Honeywell hardware as well. And then on top of all that, we've built a series of micro agents. You can consider them, microservices that power all the AI capabilities that you'll see here. So, the first product, I guess, that we've built on top of Honeywell Intelligence is our personified agent, right? Honeywell Charlotte, and named after the home city of Honeywell. And this basically just, allows all that multimodality, that you saw in Honeywell Intelligence. It exposes that. It provides access to that Honeywell context, to the customer context, and, more importantly, has an extensibility layer where it makes it more than just a data retrieval tool. You can build what we call skills, which are effectively plugins to this agent. They can go do things for you, right? And every time you ask Charlotte a question, Charlotte's always trying to say, all right, well, what is the real intent of this question? And do I have a skill that can handle that? And if so, I'll call it into action. And that could be to go into your inventory management system or perform a cycle count or whatever that skill you built that can actually drive workflow. And then, of course, we have an SDK for this as well. It can be an off-the-shelf application, or you can build it into your own products as well, like we have across our portfolio. And 𝙗𝙬 now sits at the center of all those software solutions. So not only does it provide all that AI capability so that we can build features and functionality around that, but it also serves as sort of a thread that's woven through all these solutions, and it's a point of interoperability between them, where they used to be fairly siloed. So allowing them to work together, you'll see a lot of examples of that as well. So I'll go into some of the use cases that we've built for customers here. And in some of these slides, you might see Honeywell red. That was the working prototype of 𝙗𝙬. We've now switched to 𝙗𝙬. But this use case came out of the airline industry, and they had a real problem for knowing how to handle wheelchairs as they were checked in. Making sure that they were handled properly, that there was the employees know how to put them in manual mode, so when they're pushing them, they're not breaking the motor. To categorize damage, there's a lot of damage reports.
Provide instructions for loading this wheelchair onto flight 8865 for pass.
We go back one here. And so this is all about, categorizing any sort of pre-existing damage in the wheelchair, and also having that workflow building for information on how to onboard this wheelchair, how to take care of it, right? So I'll play a little video here.
Provide instructions for loading this wheelchair onto flight 8865 for passenger Lauren Matthews, seat 9C to Miami.
So it starts with object recognition. So this
The wheelchair in the photo is a 𝙤𝙬 1450 power chair. Here is an overview of weight, dimensions, and battery type. Would you like voice-guided step-by-step instructions?
Yeah. Now, a workflow can be built off that documentation to guide this associate through, checking this wheelchair in. First, capturing information about it, right, to get that base state of whether or not there's existing damage. So in the event that there is a damage report, we know the initial state.
Are free of visible tears, sagging, or significant wear. Both armrests are intact and show no damage. The headrest is firmly attached. The blue frame and wheels also look well maintained, with no scratches, rust, or dirt buildup.
Now, instructions on how, again, to put it in manual mode so that it can be pushed and we won't damage the wheelchair.
Refer to the diagram. 2 steps remaining. Visually inspect the battery housing. Is it intact and
battery
secured?
inspection for
Refer
safety
to the
reasons,
diagram.
right? And all this is documented and tracked as a
Capture
task.
photo of the battery. I will determine the battery type. All steps completed. Review and sign the mobility.
Lose our audio here. But yeah, that's effectively it. Right now we have a record of the onboarding of this wheelchair, and we have the initial state of the wheelchair. Go ahead and skip forward here.
Mobility tag. Date August.
Okay. So another use case that came out of the airline industry, similarly to the wheelchair use cases, around baggage. So today we check our bags. There's a tag slapped on them. But again, there's no real understanding of the initial state. There's lots of damage claims, both legitimate and illegitimate. So this is all about, again, taking stock of the state of that bag, and more importantly, pulling out metadata from this bag, the material of it, right, the color. So in the event that it does go missing, helping them recover bags quicker. So when it ends up in a baggage room, we now can have 𝙗𝙬 go into AR mode, and we can do this sort of object recognition on a shelf to find a bag that looks similar to the data that we extracted, so that you don't have to go scan all the different tags. Another use case around hiring, onboarding new hires, right? So they go through lengthy training processes, but still need to be upskilled, and still might take some time to learn new processes. So this is about quick data retrieval, again, building workflows based on SOPs that have been ingested. And we'll show you this use case here.
How do I fix wiring on the RDR 7000 radar system?
I can guide you through the steps. First, power down the aircraft per aircraft maintenance manual.
Now you have this guided workflow, but more importantly, you have 𝙗𝙬 in the workflow serving as a troubleshooting agent should you have any questions about the workflow. And all the imagery that were included in the documents that built this workflow can be extracted and
to remove screws
added to the workflow.
1000 back shell. I have removed the screws.
Next, gently slide the back shell away to expose the wire bundle and termination points.
Done.
Inspect for corrosion or moisture, loose pins, chafing or exposed conductors, and proper strain relief.
I found a loose wire and corrected the fault.
Great. You have now completed all of the steps. Returning to the chat.
All right, so that's another workflow example. Similarly to that, another one where this is, an associate that has to change media on a printer. Again, asking a question, having a workflow be built just in time, guiding a user, through those steps, tracking the progression of that as a task, and recording all that. And again, having a troubleshooting agent in the workflow to ask questions. A retail use case. So again, a skill that can be tied into inventory management system. Simple use case: do we have this product in stock? If not, because we're tied into that system, and the AI can appreciate all the other products, can provide some suitable suggestions based on the product that's out of stock. This one's around incident response, right? So this, the interoperability here is with Honeywell Workforce Intelligence. Again, could be your own task management solution, but this is about speaking incidents into action, right? Is the intent to report something hazardous? If so, call that skill into action, grab imagery of the hazard, pull out that metadata automatically, where an incident can be, created and assigned to someone to go respond to it. Just general object recognition, right? The ability to take an image of some sort of part, right? In this case, an Ethernet cable. Is this a crossover or not, right? What kind of spark plug is this? What tool did I find laying around? What's its use? What's this product in my retail store? Give me more information about it, right? So that multimodality, visual analysis, data retrieval. And then planogram and inventory compliance. So this is, having a planogram, taking an image of a shelf, and comparing, where our products in the wrong area. Are there stockouts? Are there opportunities for product facing? And then queuing those up in tasks, again, in our workforce intelligence solution or your task management solution, so that when, an associate comes in for their shift, right, they have all these queued up tasks of things to go address. And today that's taking an image of the shelf. Tomorrow that's just walking with video, queuing up tasks. This is our operational intelligence solution. Again, this is mobile device management, predictive analytics, a lot of different AI use cases we're adding to this. Some that I'm highlighting here. We already have the concepts of dashboards and pushing analytics to people. This is about distilling all that down and making it easier to consume. So Charlotte reaching out with, hey, there's a battery that's causing problems in your operations. We think you should remove it. Or for some reason, the software update's not being applied to these devices. Or Andrew here is underutilizing his device for some reason. Maybe there's a training opportunity. And then we have the concept of anomaly detection and operational intelligence too. So we're basically creating a baseline of all the data points we're collecting and the events that we're collecting and the analytics that we're manufacturing. And we're building a baseline of what normal looks like across operations, so that when something's introduced or something changes, we'll flag that in the solution and show you all the events that led up to it, and compute correlation coefficients and all that. But now we're leveraging Charlotte to comb through all the logs of the impacted devices and look at all the data and data mine whether or not there's reason to believe there's causation to correlation, right? And provide some next steps on how you might recover from this scenario, right? And then similarly to that, for application analysis, today we're already collecting when Android is force closing apps. ANR events are called Android non-responsive events. When apps are outright crashing or users are force closing them for some reason, we're collecting all the logs and the stack trace that go with that and making it available in OpIntel. But today someone has to kind of manually sift through hundreds, if not thousands of lines of logs to figure out the core problem. So now we're leveraging Charlotte to do that for us, right? In the context of the failure, to provide an application health report of your top 5 application issues, where in your code it's happening, what the reason is, right? In this case, you're referencing an object before you instantiate it, and what you might do in your code to fix it, so that when you push a new version of an app, before it starts causing real problems in your operation, we're detecting it, root causing it, and you can give this to your dev team to fix. Another feature within operational intelligence is something we call virtual locker. So this is our software equivalent to a physical device locker. And, there's a couple different components to this. There's a device readiness piece. Are the devices fit for purpose? We do an analysis. Is it going to last a shift? Is it healthy? The device accountability piece, right? Controlling who has access to the device and when. and then a device recovery component. But the AI add here is when devices are checked back in, if there's any sort of physical damage or things that are not easily appreciable via software, you give the user an opportunity to report that, right? Report physical damage, screen crack, and we're using Charlotte to extract more details about the problem and summarize that and make that available collectively. And then also using it as a touch point to get sentiment from users. So we have a lot of retail customers that are hyper focused on the experience that they're providing their frontline workers with the technology that they provide them, and they want to know, or do they like this technology? Are they happy with it, right? So this is another opportunity to get that feedback, to summarize all that, and provide sort of an overall technology experience score and top user sentiments that we're receiving and top negative sentiments that we're receiving, so you know how users are enjoying that technology. And then the device recovery piece is a pretty interesting use case. So in the event that there is a problem with the device and it's not fit for purpose for the day, we're going to want to help your IT manager, whomever's responsible for these devices, get it back into circulation so that you don't have to ship it out and be without a device. So we use Charlotte for that. That's been trained on our repair database, our tech support database, our recovery guides, right? And time t=0 before we've seen any failures, Charlotte will make suggestions based on its knowledge of how to recover from certain scenarios, but will provide the user the ability to kind of say whether or not they were effective, right? This helped, this didn't help, so that we can leverage our total global footprint of all of our devices and learn over time how to recover from certain failure signatures so that we ultimately get to a point of self-healing, right? So using agentic AI is sort of a means to get to self-healing. Honeywell Smart Talk, I mentioned, is our unified communications offering, push to talk, secure messaging. A lot of cool capabilities we're adding to this solution. First one is around real-time translation. So Erik, his Italian colleague Dario here are having a conversation. All this software is actually real. It's not contrived at all. But this is fairly near real-time, translation in a push-to-talk scenario.
How you're doing today?
Buongiorno Dario, solo controllando come vedere come stai facendo oggi.
Ciao, sto bene. Come stai oggi?
We support over 20 or 25 different languages, all permutations.
Doing well. Just let me know if you need anything.
Sto bene. Lasciami sapere se hai bisogno di niente.
Vieni a trovarmi in ufficio, per favore?
Be in the office, please.
Sure, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Certo che sarò lì in 5 minuti.
Grazie mille.
So pretty straightforward use case. More interesting use case, in my opinion, is having Charlotte inside the chat when two people are communicating here. So we have this very handsome woman on the left here, Erica, who's having a conversation with Erik, and Charlotte's in the chat. She's been trained on all sorts of processes, and whenever there's a question that's asked, she can raise her hand and say, hey, I can help with that. Do you want my help? So you'll see that.
Good morning, Erik. Just checking in to see how you're doing.
Good morning, Erik. Just checking in to see how you're doing.
Hello, Erica. Good morning. I'm doing well. What can I do for you?
Hello, Erica. Good morning. I'm doing well. What can I do for you?
Could you do me a favor and replace the media in the back office printer?
So now Charlotte knows how to do that. She's ingested the user guide for that. So she's going to raise her hand and say, hey, I know how to help with this. Do you want me to build a workflow and guide you through this? In which case Erik will say, sure. And now she's also going to create a task in our workforce intelligence solution, which is, again, our task management solution, but could be ServiceNow or whatever solution, right? And it's going to assign that task to Erik, and it's going to go ahead and build its workflow based on its knowledge of how to handle this process.
Okay, next step.
Pull the locking tab up.
What do I do if the locking tab won't
Again,
go?
more importantly, being in the chat to be a troubleshooting agent. So it's been trained on our domain context. It has real-world context. You can ask questions about steps, and it'll help you with that, right?
If it still does not move, consult the printer's user guide for troubleshooting steps or contact support for assistance.
Okay, I got it. Next step.
So Erik will ultimately progress through the workflow here. Again, if there's any video links or imagery, they can be pulled into the workflow that's generated.
Watch this video.
But ultimately, Erik will complete this workflow. And now Charlotte will mark that task completed. And if we go into Workforce Intelligence, you'll see now that was assigned to Erik. It's been completed. There's a full transcript of everything that was said with Erik and Charlotte, which now can further be refined by Charlotte to say, all right, can I make this workflow better? Were there any questions asked along the way? Can we refine it for the next user and make it more efficient, right? Kind of close that loop. And then the last use case for Smart Talk here, this is another appearance of Milton here in 2 presentations, is sentiment analysis. So being able to monitor a conversation and looking for, dangerous language or whatever that might be, get the overall sentiment of conversations. So Lumberg here has a history of picking on Milton. Go ahead and let them talk.
Milton, what's happening? I'm going to have to ask you to move your desk again. So if you could go ahead and get it as far back against that wall, that would be great.
Hi Milton, what's happening? I'm going to have to ask you to move your desk again, so if you could go ahead and get it as far back against that wall, that would be great.
Okay, I could set the building on fire.
So now Milton's had enough, but he probably shouldn't have said that. So now Charlotte's going to flag that, and she's going to create an incident again in our Workforce Intelligence solution or whatever tool of choice, right? We're going to get some overall sentiment about this chat. You're going to see some details. There's, it's negative, there's frustration. Here's some action items. But ultimately, that's going to be captured in Workforce Intelligence is employee hostility, a safety issue, and there's a full transcript of everything that was said, right? So someone can respond to that.
You rolled that out.
It's that particular. Then we haven't rolled that feature out yet. No. Yeah. I'm sure some people will find it kind of big brothery, but you'll be surprised others want it. Yeah. So Honeywell Swift Decoder, again, I mentioned this is our enterprise barcode scanning SDK, external scanners, non-Honeywell and Honeywell devices leveraging front and rear facing camera, OCR. The AR unlock for this is something we call scene analysis or Swift Vision. And this is really about a general purpose machine vision library where in just a few lines of code, mostly text, describing the information that you want to pull out of a scene outside of barcodes and text, right? And then defining the output that you want it, right? The format of the output on how you want it so that your app can act upon it. You can build pretty complex machine vision use cases, right? So these examples detecting, the defective produce, or is there a security seal on the back of this trailer and give me a Boolean of this name so that I can do something with it in my app, or is there damage to this rental car? And if so, what's the severity? So general purpose machine vision, few lines of code is the takeaway there. Another example of that, someone else had a package a damage detection example too. So this could be pallet damage or anything, right? Really. We've said, all right, I want you to look for damage in this scene. I want you to tell us if you think this product is defective and should be rejected. What's the severity? What's your reasoning behind thinking that? And again, so you can drive workflow in an app and easily add sort of this new machine vision capability. Some other use cases, that planogram compliance is all built on top of that. So data extraction from documents where you might not know the format of the document, or there's lots of different formats like bill of ladings, they come in all shapes and sizes. So the ability to build a visual data parser for any sort of format of bill of lading to get certain information out in a few lines of code is pretty valuable. You can do that today with OCR templates, one for each document, but it's pretty time consuming. Attribute extraction from return products, right? Looking for compliance in packaging from manufacturers. There's a lot of different use cases there. And then I just kind of want to highlight, as a software developer, I find it's pretty cool now that software is sort of pulling along the hardware. So we're, all of our next gen our hardware is all AI in mind. We're choosing specific chipsets so that we can run large language models on device, choosing our cameras specifically for machine vision use cases, adding LiDAR. And it's cool to see as a software guy. One thing I just wanted to highlight, we use AI all throughout our business, right? We were glad to be awarded this Google Dora Award recently for our use of AI within our DevOps and development practices. And lastly, I just want to say thank you. And this is, I think this should be a mail to link if anyone finds any of those interesting. any of those solutions interesting, want to follow up, have any, use cases that they think some of this AI stuff could help with, drop me an email. We'll follow up. We'll get our project manager, and we'd love to hear from you. So thanks.